At the end of August, I went on holiday to New York City. It was the second time that I'd been there, having also holidayed there in 2013. In this video, I want to discuss my visit, a few of the places that we went to, and what I thought of the holiday. We stayed at the Econo Lodge Hotel, which is centrally located just a minute's walk from Times Square. It is a small but clean hotel with a small continental breakfast selection. The staff were nice, especially Willie, who normally mans the reception desk at night. He was very welcoming to my sister-in-law, who hadn't actually been to New York before, helping her with her queries and even getting her milk for her cup of tea when they only had powdered milk. He was very welcoming to guests and willing to help them with any problem that they had. He's a real credit to the hotel. It's staff like that which guests appreciate, especially somewhere they may not have been before and sometimes can obviously do with a little help themselves. One of the places that we all agreed that we had to visit was Madison Square Garden. Under renovations last time, this time we were actually able to do the 75-minute all-access tour. Throughout the corridors of the world's most famous arena are pictures of historic and memorable events that have taken place at each of the incarnations of the venue. There are many places that you can eat and drink during events, and we were able to see the chilled storeroom where they keep hundreds of barrels of drinks to be served. One of the things that I certainly appreciated, though, was the chance to have a seat in the arena during the tour. While being shown the arena area itself, we stopped twice, at mid-level and at the walkway high above. While the tour guide spoke about the area we were in and the preparations taken to prepare for different events, I was able to sit and take in my surroundings and appreciate being somewhere that I have seen many times on TV, holding events by the who's who of sports and entertainment. A place certainly worth a visit for the history alone when it comes to the famous names and events that have taken place there. The future of the current location is unknown, but definitely somewhere that should be on the list of places to visit in New York. I believe that one of the main reasons to visit New York should be to see the city itself. There are several ways to do this. Bus tours like the Grey Line tours are a great way of seeing and hearing about the city. They offer several tours including Uptown, Downtown, Brooklyn and the Night Tour. These allow you to see the city and hear from tour guides about the history of different areas, buildings and streets as you cover that particular tour. Another great way to see the city is to take in the view from one of the skyscrapers open to the public for that very reason. We visited the Empire State Building last time, and this time we took in the views from One World Trade, aka the Freedom Tower, and from the top of the rock known as the Rockefeller Center. Making your way up in the lift that high and that quickly does make your ears pop slightly, but the views are tremendous once you are at the top, including the 102-story Freedom Tower. I would recommend visiting such places on a clear, sunny day if possible, as due to their height, low cloud may obscure the views, but you can get great views of all around the city, including Central Park, the bridges, and even outlying areas, and if you look properly, even the streets below. There are many attractions to visit, and two of them are Madame Tussauds and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Tussauds is exactly what you'd expect. Waxwork models of famous celebrity from entertainment and world events. There was also a Ghostbusters exhibition with a couple of spooky areas and a Slimer hologram with several funny poses. There is also a Marvel Superhero 4D experience. This is a 3D 10-minute cartoon showing a Tony Stark press conference being taken over by villains including Loki, which heroes including Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Iron Man must rescue. During this, you are sprayed by blasts of air and mists of water. Enjoyable though. Ripley's is a collection of unusual artifacts discovered over the years. I honestly wasn't sure what this was going to be like, wasn't sure what to expect, but it is actually a fascinating look at very unusual items collected, including parts of a meteor and space debris. There's also the Black Hole Walkway, that is a short walkway surrounded by a drum of lights that can make you feel slightly unsteady. Many of these attractions, I have to say, have pretty much the same setup, with a picture taken of you or your party when you enter. Now, these can be expensive, but you have no obligation to buy them if you don't want to. To be honest, we did skip a couple of these. As I said, the city is the main attraction for visitors, and we found getting around is quite easy with the subway system and a metro card which can be used to catch the regular trains across the system. A couple of times my brother and sister-in-law were away visiting things like Coney Island or the 9/11 Museum, so myself and my mum went wandering around ourselves and found it actually, even to ourselves, quite easy to navigate around using the subway to find out where we wanted to go. One of the surprising things we found on our wanders was that the waterfalls at Ground Zero are now actually accessible from the street. These are of course the two waterfalls with the names of the victims displayed, and was actually part of the secured area when we visited in 2013. And now there is also the Westfield World Trade Center Mall next to it in the building, shaped like a pair of angel wings from above. We also wandered around seeing Wall Street, the waterfront, and of course took a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. We visited Brooklyn a couple of times, seeing the shops, seeing a couple of malls there, and of course being fans of entertainment, we also saw another venue, the Barclays Center. Overall, New York felt safe enough. Most of the time we were all together, so we probably wouldn't be bothered, but even away from the touristy areas, it seemed okay. There were plenty of places to eat and drink, cafes and restaurants placed all around the city. Even food carts, the famous food carts around the streets of New York, offering food from pretzels to hot dogs and even ice cream. I would say definitely keep your wits about you, as with any city, there are some unsavoury characters. I would also say to watch out, and this is important, when crossing the roads, as cars can still turn the corner even if the pedestrian light says to cross. Another and final, well, kind of warning or piece of advice really, is to shop around if you're planning on buying things, either presents from yourself, memorabilia to remember your visit, or of course the traditional presents when you're away on holiday for family and friends. There are so many gift shops around the city for trinkets and touristy items. So shopping around like you would do at home, I would recommend, as I witnessed myself. Prices do vary considerably. So if you do shop around, you can find a bargain, you can find something priced at a lower price in one shop than perhaps a shop just a little bit further up the street. Talking of prices though, one thing I have to say is that sales tax in New York is not shown in the prices labelled. So the price shown is not exactly the price you will pay. But as I said there, shop around and you can still save yourself some money. New York is a bustling city with lots to see and do. It's a living, breathing city that I enjoyed visiting on both occasions. It is certainly somewhere that I think people should go to at least once, enjoying the city and its people. New York is still an attraction to people around the world, and when you're there, it is really easy to see why.